talking about Floyd messing boxing up. Nah, y'all corny much.
I don't think what he was saying was that he has anything derogatory to say about Floyd, but it's like Floyd ushered in this era where if you lose a fight, then you're not considered one of the greats.
No, I mean I get that, but that ain't Floyd's fault. Floyd just doing what he do. He ain't like he going around this that. It's these fighters, and he could attest to that because of the fact that he could never get a shot. It took him long. How long? He always wanted that Pacquiao fight, but Top Rank would never give it to him because they knew there's a chance that Terence Crawford could beat Pacquiao. But yet you put Ricky Hatton, not Hatton, but the other guy that beat Pacquiao, put him up there and let him run for a minute. Well, you know he clearly wasn't any good at anyway. So that's how they run it because they knew Terence Crawford was a legitimate threat. Terence Crawford even said to the point that people said if they were Errol Spence, they would never fought Terence Crawford, which means Terence Crawford wouldn't have ever got a shot. Errol Spence said, I think I'm better than him, so I'm going to fight him. And he even thanked him afterwards because he goes, look, without you giving me a shot, I never would have got a chance to fight nobody of significance. He never would have been able to fight Pacquiao. Pacquiao, but I'm sorry, Canelo. Because he wouldn't get a shot. People are scared of people that matter. Anyway, that's what I'm like, though. But to be mad at Floyd because he's undefeated,
no, I don't think he was mad at him. I just think that he kind of ushered in this era where everybody's holding on to their oath, and they don't want to risk fighting anybody else because if they get a loss, then they're like yesterday's news.
Now I get that, but that's the fighters. That ain't Floyd. You can't be mad at somebody perfection. It's like saying Will Chamberlain set the bar too high because he averaged 30 points and 20 rebounds. Well, you know what? I don't want to be compared to him, so I don't want to do too much. You can't be mad at greatness, bruh. How about you get in there and just be you? Again, like you said, it's a lot of dudes that lost fights. Everybody was losing. There's so many times. Most people think Ken Norton beat Ali twice.
Yeah, one of the things that, in a way, I agree with what Terence said is that it's like these guys don't want to fight each other, and it's really ruining boxing. It's really ruining boxing.
I agree with that.
And it's like we get deprived of some of the great fights that we need to see with these boxers, and then they wait too long. This is what I'm throwing in. They wait too long, and then I don't want to see if they talk about Pacquiao, Mayweather. I don't want to see that.
Nah, it's entertainment now.
Yeah, and so it's like Pacquiao's going for a belt. He wants to fight, Romero. Okay, cool. If he can get him, he can get him. But it's like, it's like you're losing I'm losing my taste for boxing because it's like we have to wait so long for these. It's so many boxers out there that they could fight every month or every other week. There could be a great boxing match, and they won't do it. They will not do it.
Yeah. But when you look at Crawford, though, let's look at his resume before he fought Spence. You look at his resume, you're not gonna go, oh, look at that great resume. But he'll tell you he couldn't get the fight. But I also blame him from that standpoint because of you signing with Top Rank, who was holding you back. He still is so far behind from making the money they deserved.
Yeah. But so the other thing is that I ran into so many questions about, and I'm not a big Canelo fan, but so many questions like, oh, should Canelo just retire now? And I'm like, no, he's still one of the top fighters. He's still one of the. What do you want to? Just because he lost to Crawford, that he should just go home and don't fight no more? No, he can still have some great bouts, fight against some great fighters. And so it's like even the public has bought into this. If you don't have if you got a less than more than an O on your record, then you lose. You pretty much, you pretty much done. They're done with you. It's like Gladiator. Like once the Gladiator loses, like okay, we go with the new champion. Fuck what you talking about. We were rolling with you last week, but you last week's news, and the public has even bought into that. So the
which is bad.
Yeah, it's really bad because I don't know if it's just Because sometimes I sit up and watch Pacquiao's fights. And me and my kung fu instructor, he be texting me. The fights last like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I mean, some of the old classic fights. And I'm looking at Pacquiao and I'm like, man, this guy was a beast. I mean, he was
Mhm.
just nonstop fighting machine. He was like he's not even human the way he was going. And I'm like, how can I not consider him a great fighter, even though they showed the fight where he was laying on the canvas on his face?
Right.
Okay, came
Right.
back and he continued to fight. And he got a legacy. And I'm like, how can I not consider him a great fighter because he got a couple of L's on his record? I'm like, that doesn't even make sense to me. He can still fight. Even now, I don't agree with him fighting, but he can still fight. He ain't got the motor he did. But the public has bought into. I know in boxing they have. If you got, if you lose, your career's over. You might as well go sit down somewhere.
Well, look at it from the standpoint of Canelo. Here's what we know. And I think we knew it before we didn't want to admit it because he had such a long tenure of just running through people, right? After Floyd. He just ran through, like we said, over a decade where nobody really touched him. Bivol, right? Bivol finally got him. But he'd been running for over 10 years and people were used to it, even though he might have been losing some of his quality skills, right? But we also know, too, that with the last showing that Crawford had, that clearly the issue that Canelo has is with a mobile fighter that uses the ring and it can outmaneuver him where he can't run up on him. If you can stay away from long enough and land shots, you can beat him. You can make him look simple. But that does not mean because those mobile fighters figured it out how they can move away and beat Canelo that he can't still be half the deuce in them damn divisions down there.
Yeah,
That's what we said. It don't mean you're not good. It means that you still can be over half the dudes because Terence Crawford is special. That's what he's able to do. That's why when you talk about Terence Crawford and what he did, great. Also, too, Floyd did the same thing. When over a much younger guy, but you can see the holes in the fighting style of Canelo. And you come up with the right style, you can beat him. And that's what happened. They looked directly and said, okay, yeah, we can do this now. And that's why he made him look again. To me, when he looked like Mayweather was the standpoint that he made Canelo look ordinary.
yeah,
That's great fighters. But to say that he can still be had on dudes now, especially if he was able to drop down. Like right now, I want to see some movement at 154. Boots Ennis moved up. Charlo's been around, has not been fighting. You got Lubin, you got so many other guys. It's stacked at 154. It's time for people to start getting in the ring. Same way too, last but not least, everybody's in love with David Benavidez. The Canelo it's been revealed, right? They showed you that they can break him down. Now, of course, Benavidez will love to fight him
yeah.
because now Crawford showed you what his issues are. So now, Benavidez, as great as you say you are, it's time for you to stay where you at and get that better beef in your life. You be better beef, we'll see. I
Yeah,
don't think you
I
can
would
beat
like
him.
to see. I would like to see him fight Canelo. To be honest with you, I think that's one of the fights that if Canelo wanted to, redeem himself, and
Yeah.
he'd fight, he'd shut him up. Because that's he's been calling Canelo out all this time. If you want to redeem yourself, go shut this dude up who's been calling you out
But,
for years.
but I think the only issue with that for me with Canelo is he don't respect him.
Right.
And even though he lost to Crawford, he goes, Crawford is an all-time great. He give Crawford that due. He says Crawford is one of the best he ever faced, and he give it up. It was not my night. I don't know if I ever could beat him. He give that to him, but he will not say that to Benavidez. And it's like now that I've been exposed, now you want to fight me, right? Now that Crawford showed you how to do it, and you bigger than me, you stronger, you got more boxing power. Now you know how to do it. Now you want me to fight you? I don't think that Canelo would like. You know what? You cheated, not so much cheated, but you had your way going on. You're a two-time champion. You threw it away. I'm not giving you the now that I'm older. I'm not gonna let you have a shot. But Benavidez, you say you still all that. That's why I want to see you fight Benavidez. He want to fight Bivol because he think he can beat Bivol because he's bigger and he think he can outmaneuver Bivol. But you say you the Mexican monster. I want to see you fight Beterbiev, because Beterbiev, until he get too old, was gonna bring that leather. We're gonna find out because we saw Benavidez look a little shaky in a couple fights before.
Yeah.
You mess around with Benavidez, you be sitting, you be laying down.
Yeah. And I can't see Canelo going under 168. I
Yeah,
can't see him doing that. I
yeah,
see him going up in weight or
yeah,
staying at 168. But for him, to me, it doesn't make sense to get down lower than 168 at this particular point in his career.
yeah, yeah. And I think he can do damage at 168.
Yeah.
Because even though you know his style, you know what he's gonna do, he's slow, he's gonna come, he's gonna walk you down. There's a lot of people that know the style. Just because you know what somebody gonna do, I mean you can stop it.